Hi, and welcome to the second part in the series on modern-day third parties in the United States. Today we're going to be talking about the Green Party. So let's talk a little bit about their founding and background. So the date listed on their website is 1984. This is sort of complicated because there's several forerunner organizations, state Green parties, and international ones that there wasn't really a cohesive group until Green Party of the United States, which is the national party that exists right now. So the Association of State Green Parties, a forerunner organization which Nader ran under, which we'll talk about in a little bit, was actually just formed from these committees of correspondence between state Green parties, which had little influence and little national scope, not even statewide scope mostly. This sort of worked out temporarily, but then there was a sort of two different groups: the Green Party of the United States versus the Green/Green Party of the United States, and these were formed from the forerunner organizations, and they had similar ideologies, similar platform, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but the solvency was different. The Green Party of the United States believed in traditional ways of getting their platform and advocating by getting elected and running presidential candidates, trying to get seats in legislatures and the House and Senate, things like that. Versus the Green/Green Party of the United States believed in more lobbying, advocacy through that, so not part of the political sphere, more advocacy. So the Green/Green Party of the United States exists today as a 527, and the Green Party of the United States is the national one, which ran Jill Stein in 2012. So let's talk a little bit about Nader. Nader ran under the Association of State Green Parties in 1996 and 2000. He was much more famous for his 2000 appearance because he got around 2.74% of the vote, almost 3% of the vote, which is unheard of for most third-party candidates. And they took the Green Party is a very liberal third party, very, very left third party. So it took a lot of votes away from people who would normally vote for Gore. I'm not saying that's a good thing or bad thing. It's your decision to and whether you support the prevalence of third parties or not. But that played a role in, because the election between Bush and Gore was so close, Nader played a really big part. So he gained a lot of resentment actually for that, because the Democrats who voted for Gore blamed him for Gore not being voted because of that such small margin and the recounts in Florida and such. Let's talk a little bit about Jill Stein. She was actually arrested twice in the same month while running for president, which is just a fun fact. So the first was for trying to gain access into the presidential debates with Romney and Obama at Hofstra University, which has been a series of it's been debated that whether or not third parties should be allowed in these, and there's a rule that you need to be polling at 12% before of the popular vote before the debate, and she wasn't, but that was only instituted after Nader, so Nader wouldn't have been allowed in the debates, but he was because that rule wasn't instituted before. But so Jill Stein got arrested the first time for trespassing, and then she was arrested the second time for trying to deliver food to protesters protesting the Keystone XL pipeline. So she actually tried to use this to her benefit. She released a campaign slogan: "Do you want President Obama corporate sellout, or Jill Stein arrested in the name of democracy?" Trying to portray the persona of the oppressive government, the oppressive police force trying to impede on your personal rights to like that. So let's take a little look about where Jill Stein falls on the graph, the political spectrum graph of other presidential candidates. Again, this on the x-axis we have left versus right, like traditional economic policy, and on this we have social scale. So this is libertarianism versus authoritarianism. So here's Obama right there, and Romney, good old Virgil Good up in the corner, all the way to the right, all the way authoritarian. Gary Johnson, who's far off to the right and slightly libertarian, and Jill Stein, who's about the same libertarian, but she's about halfway to the left on the x-axis, -5, probably. So she's by far the most radical on the left side of the somewhat prominent presidential candidates. Like, yes, obviously the Communist Party and the Socialist Party is going to be farther left, but they're not as prominent as the Green Party. So let's take a look at the Green Party's platforms and their beliefs. So they have these 10 key values which they believe in. So that's grassroots democracy, social justice, ecological wisdom, and nonviolence, decentralization, community-based economics, feminism, diversity, responsibility, and future focus. If you look at their platform, it's several hundred pages long. So I wish I could cover every little facet of their platform and their policy solutions. Like, unlike the Libertarian Party, if you watched the video before, their platform was like 4 pages long and pretty much had headings that said government should do nothing. The Green Party is very much the government to be involved in things. They're big proponents of individual rights. In fact, they're very libertarian. It's all about your own choices, your own sexual orientation, your own freedom of speech, freedom to protest. They don't believe in any restriction of that, but they also believe that the government should have a role in protecting the people in protecting the people's rights. So there should be a larger role, so that the government should have advocacy groups and policy and international things protecting women. Like, they believe in the ERA, they believe in a lot of international pacts, things that the libertarians don't believe in. So within these 10 key values, the first 4, they call them the 4 pillars in the Green Party of the United States. The Green Party of the United States was actually preceded by a lot of international Green Parties, which influenced it a lot. So mostly Der Grünen, which is the German Green Party, and the Green Party of Canada, they have slight variations on these 10 key values and 4 pillars. Like, in Canada, I believe that they have 6 pillars instead of 4, but they're pretty similar. It's just what they want to stress more. So ecological wisdom's pretty much their environmentalism thing, and it varies within the Green Party. So there are people who believe in ecological utilitarianism, which is more like coexistence and how can we use the environment so it's so protective but still benefits humanity the most, through deep ecology, where people believe that all organisms should have the same human rights. They have inherent humanity like humans. So I'm not telling you what to believe, but I'm not going to go into like specific branches of environmentalism. That's up. It always things that it ranges in view of how people perceive environmentalism. Social justice. The Green Party is very much egalitarian. They believe in equality for everybody, not based on equality based on race, sex, gender, nationality, ethnicity, whatever you can think of. They believe in equality for everybody. So, and that's shown through their advocacy of the ERA, the U.S. isn't signed on to some UN equality for women. Like, the U.S. hasn't signed on to a UN agreement on equality for women, of course. The U.S. doesn't do anything. Like, they believe in, like, with regards to sexual orientation, that there should be complete gay rights, and you can identify however you want. There should be an other option, and other than male or female, that can be addressed by other pronouns and legal documents, things like that. Very, very egalitarian minded, which I find pretty compelling. Grassroots democracy. That's one of their biggest pillars. The Green Party will not accept any contributions from 527, soft money, or PACs, super PACs. Nothing like that. They don't believe in sort of the corruption. A lot of their focus is on election reform, and they believe in reversing decisions like Citizens United, Buckley v. Vallejo, all of these things that say that there should be caps that corporations are people too. They reject corporation personhood, believe things like that. They believe in a lot of election reform and cracking down on corruption, mandatory and cooling off periods after leaving presidential office for lobbying, things like that. And nonviolence. A lot of their policies have derived a lot from Quaker ideology and Gandhi's nonviolence movement in India. So they believe in, like the libertarians, they believe in solving issues by peace, not sending troops abroad. But unlike the libertarians, they believe in solving this through international bodies like the UN, the World Bank, not NGOs, diplomacy. They believe in a large international presence, but only for peace, and that that the U.S. should have a large part in international bodies. I hope you learned a little bit more about the Green Party today, and stay tuned next time for the Constitution Party.